Hello, my topic for today is assessment. So let's start with informal assessment. So what is informal assessment? Sometimes referred to as criterion reference measures or performance-based measures should be used to inform instruction. Involves observing the learners as they learn and evaluating them from the data gathered. Considered more authentic and thus can be used primarily to describe performance and inform instruction. So meaning, informal assessment reminds the students or it provides overview of the topic that they had learned today. For example, the use of reading inventories where a teacher listened to a child read while counting for accuracy and speed is an example of an informal assessment. So, in informal assessment, it provides an opportunity for the students na para makaspeak up sila in terms of speaking and also writing. So here are the examples of informal assessment. First is self-questionnaire or checklist, project, writing sample, tests and quizzes made by the teacher, portfolios, grading assignment, student-created quizzes, demonstration stations, exit slips, graphic organizers, and journals. So next is authentic assessment. So authentic assessment, the use of tests, whether formal or informal, is only one method of assessment. There are other ways of assessing students considered at risk for developmental delays or have additional needs. One that is highly recommended by professionals is the use of authentic assessment method and tools. So, authentic assessment, ito yung nagda-dry run sa students or it checks the progression of the students kung nabibehind ba sila or naaangat sila. Authentic assessment provides the student the opportunity to apply knowledge and skills in meaningful real-world settings. Assessment tasks that are more real-life are considered more authentic. So meaning, authentic assessment is more on hands-on or more on action because it applies yung kung ano yung mga natutunan mo sa school, ina-apply ng mga estudyante sa society. So these are the examples of authentic assessment. Conduction research and writing a report, character analysis, student debates individual or group, drawing and writing about a story or chapter, experiments, trial and error learning, journal entries reflected writing, discussion partners or groups, student self-assessment, peer assessment and evaluation, presentation, projects, portfolios, and tiered learning classroom. So Clay identified essential information to be included in a running record. So ito yung mga ginagamit ng mga examiners to dry run students or to check the progression of the students kung anong level na ba sila, kung nabibehind ba sila or above average sila. First is the date and time of the observation. The next is names of children involved, location of the incident, verbatim recording of what the children said, and the last is actual events that occurred. Anecdotal records contain shorter description of incidents or anecdotes that teachers and specialists can use to analyze a student's behavior and plan strategies for a specific child or group of children. In anecdotal record, the teacher or examiner or the specialist records the movement ng isang estudyante including on how they behave, interact, and on how they answer questions. So let's move on Carl assessment. So in Carl's assessment, makikita natin dito is yung dalawang method which is the informal assessment and authentic is nagamit ng mga examiners and teachers kay Carl. So let's start. Despite the instructional support and after-school remedial class, Carl continued to display difficulties in reading, spelling, oral reading fluency, and written expression. Because such difficulties persisted, Ms. Reyes and the team decided to refer him to a developmental pediatrician and a school psychologist to conduct a psychoeducational evaluation to determine the underlying reason for Carl's literacy difficulty. The school psychologist used a battery of tests, intelligence and achievement tests in reading, spelling, written expression, and math. He also interviewed Carl, his parents, and his of girls' school works. The school psychologist then analyzed the result